On behalf of Bernardine and myself, I would like to congratulate everybody involved to make this day happen. I suppose the story of Halcock and Brown, I'm not going to go back on that, but it is an extraordinary story of adventure, bravery, and breaking down boundaries for mankind. I don't agree with all of the history of what I read in the book, because I'm going to tell you why. When I came down last year, I didn't realise it was the 100 years. I knew about Halcock and Brown. I met Brian, and I was talking about the statue, which I thought was amazing. But I come downtown to go on my usual pub crawl, and I met an old fella in a corner, and I sat down and I said, just up in Abbey Glen, and I saw the statue of Halcock and Brown. It's a great story. That's not the true story at all. He said, sure, he said they knew exactly where they were going. He said they'd read about the crack down here when people celebrate down here, the music and the dance. And I said, are you sure about that? And he said, yeah. He said, sure, we know. It was my grandfather that met them when they got off the plane. And the first thing they said was, we want 2 pints of Guinness as fast as you can. So I don't know which one to believe, but I love that story. But anyway, when I met Brian and I saw the statues and he told me the story, and I was amazed at what he had achieved to get all this done and get it back from Heathrow, and the great people in Heathrow to accommodate him and allow the statues to be moved back here was fantastic. And then when he told me they were going back to Heathrow next week, I said, oh, Jesus, man. And is that the end of that? Yes, that's the end of that. And I said, is there any way you can hold on to them? He said, no way. And I said, okay, so as we all know about moving statues, we started to think about a replica statue. So there's the replica statue. There we go. So that's really, I don't have a whole lot more to say, only that Bernardine and myself are delighted that we made our small contribution to making this happen, and everybody else involved. There's only one thing I will say: there is a phase 3 to this, and I think that and Brian is going to drive this like Brian drives everything. Is the museum where the plane landed or crash landed, and a museum is the next target with a replica of the plane and the history of all the great stories in the world about aviation. And I think that would be a great thing for tourism in Clifton. And the one thing I did find out was when I talk to people in the UK, I spend a lot of time there, and over the years, or over the last year, when I talk about Halcock and Brown, everybody knows about it. So it's a huge tourist attraction. And if we get the museum done with a little bit of help from our friends, I mean, it'll be a huge benefit to Clifton and to the community and for jobs and for tourism. So we're going to try and make this happen. And I just say to Brian, there's one thing I would have to say is, there's one song in the museum, and when it opens, I want him to play. It's Tom Petty's Learning to Fly. And I'm going to quote 2 little lines that I love. One of my favourite songs is, like Halcock and Brown, I'm on my way to God knows where. I guess I know when I get there. And the other one is, I'm learning to fly, but I have no wings. Coming down is the hardest thing. Thank you.